welcome to 5-Minute Maths. Today we'll be going over on how to complete the square. Now before we start the video, please consider subscribing and turn on the notification bell for more quality content. Now let's get on with the video. So what exactly is completing the square? So completing the square allows you to solve for any quadratic equation, be it complicated or not. So in completing the square, you simply engineer the left side of the quadratic equation to be a perfect square so we can easily solve for the variable. For example, if we have quadratic equation, so this will be the left side. So it'll just be simple like x squared, say minus 3x plus 5 equals 0. So if we know that if this left side is a perfect square, we can easily solve for x, right? So in completing a square, all we do is just make this left side here a perfect square. So now you may be wondering, how exactly do we complete the square? So now I'm going to show you how to complete the square. So let's look at this equation here. X squared minus 4x equals to 5. So this is obviously a quadratic equation. So in order to complete the square, we want to look at this left-hand side right here, x squared minus 4x. We want to make this left-hand side of the equation equivalent to a perfect square so we can easily solve for x. So right now, it's obviously, we need to make it like some type of square, right? So it has to be x squared minus 4x plus some unknown constant. So just call that unknown constant y. Just call it y for now. So this x squared minus 4x plus y, we want that to be perfect square. So how do we do that? Well, we can first find, the general form of a perfect square. That'll be x plus a, so these just variables, square. So this is just, general form of perfect square. So since we want x squared minus 4x plus y to be a perfect square, we can set the two equations equal to each other. So equals to x squared minus 4x plus y, right? If we multiply x plus a squared out, we'll have x squared plus 2ax, makes that x a bit better, and plus a squared. And that equals to x squared minus 4x plus y. So y just our unknown constant we want to add. So you can first do some canceling over here. Since x squared on both sides, we can just cancel x squared from both sides of the equation. So since this x minus a squared is just our general form of a perfect square, right? So then negative 4x plus y is in the same positions in a quadratic formula as 2ax plus a squared. Therefore, 2ax equals to negative 4x and a squared equals to y. So this is pretty simple. So what multiplied by 2 will give you negative 4? Well, 2 times negative 2 equals negative 4. So now we know a equals to negative 2. So since we know y is a squared and know a is negative 2, y equals to 4. So we know the unknown constant we want to add to this left-hand side of the equation is 4. So now let's clear everything to make this simpler. So now since y is 4, the left-hand side equation will be x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals to 5. But now, as you realized, we added 4 to the left-hand side. You also need to add 4 to the right-hand side. So you also need to add 4. So before I want to go further onto completing the square, I just want to share a little bit of shortcut. So as you saw, 2ax will always equal to this portion, right? 2ax will always equal to 4x, any number, any constant. Since it's 2ax, that means the constant in this middle term will always be, let's call this middle term b, right? A equals to b divided by 2, because as you saw, 2ax equals to this middle term, and therefore since 2ax, we want to divide by 2 every single time, so therefore a always equals to b divided by 2, and b is just simply the constant of the middle term, and therefore the constant of this middle term is 4
-4, sorry. -4 divided 2 is -2. So that in a simpler way, but I want to just show you how we do this. So now let's get back to problem. So 5 plus 4 equals to 9. So now if you condense everything, you know x squared minus 4x plus 4, that's a perfect square. So just simply x minus 2, because we determined a is -2, so just x minus 2 squared. And that equals to 9. And now we're going to take square root of everything. So just x minus 2 equals, now when you take square root, remember plus minus, right? Because you either have positive times each other or negative times each other, same result. So plus minus 3. So our answer will either be x. So unfortunately my recording was cut off. So what actually I was about to say was, so we know x, so we know x minus 2 equals to plus minus 3. So we can just simply add 2 to both sides, just x equals to 2 plus or minus 3. So therefore we know x equals to 5, because 5 is 2 plus 3, or x can equal to 2 minus 3, which is -1. So that is for this problem. Alright, so now let's do some more practice on completing the squared. So we have 2x squared plus 12x plus 10 equals to 0. So our first step here, we want to have this first term. We don't want any constant in front of it. We just want it to be x squared. But now we have 2x squared. So what do we do? So in order to have just x squared, we need to divide by 2. So if we divide this by 2, we have to divide this by 2, divide 10 by 2, and divide 0 by 2. So 2x squared divided by 2, just simply x squared. 12x divided by 2 is 6x, so 6x. And 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 0 divided by 2 is always 0. So now we want to complete the square, right? So we don't want to have a constant. We don't want to have this constant right here. We want to have an unknown constant to complete the square. So our first step is to move 5 to this side of the equation. So now let's do that. So we have x squared plus 6x equals, since we want to move 5 over, we have to subtract 5, equals to -5. So now we can complete the square. So using a shortcut I mentioned earlier, so we know we can call this here 6, call this term b, and we have our equation a equals to b divided by 2. So in this case, b equals to 6, so we just plug that in. So a equals to 6 divided by 2. So therefore a equals to 3. So we know this unknown constant we all plug in is obviously a squared, and know a is 3. So the unknown constant just simply be 9. So we can rewrite this as x squared plus 6x plus 9. And as you know, if we add 9 to the left hand side, you also have to add 9 to the right hand side. So equals to -5 plus 9, which is 4. So now let me erase everything so we can have a clear board. So we have x squared plus 6x plus 9 equals to 4. So we can condense this, and since we know a is 3, it's just simply x plus 3 squared, and that will equal to 4. So we square root everything, so it will just be x plus 3 equals 2. And don't forget the plus minus here, plus minus is very important. So equals plus minus square root of 4 is just 2, so plus minus 2. So now we subtract 3 from both sides to isolate x. So we have x equals to -3 plus minus 2. So -3 plus 2 is -1, so x equal -1. -3 minus 2 is -5. So x can either equal -1 or -5. So this is how you complete the square. I hope you liked the video. If you liked the video, please share, like, and subscribe. If you did not, please roast in the comments and give us some suggestions on how we can improve. Thank you for watching.